Welcome to our final week of class, and I've had a number of questions sent to me, and I want to make sure to answer them since Friday is our last day of class. So a couple of announcements regarding that. One is that we will use Friday as our final day to work in class, and then your paper will be due Friday the 13th at 5 p.m. We will not be having class the week of finals. I have some medical appointments I have to attend, unfortunately. So this will be our last in-person meeting, but I just want to remind you too, I'm happy to meet with your groups virtually or in person as you work on this final plan. So Friday, December 6th, we will meet in class, work on our plan, and we will get ready for working out the details to get our papers ready so that we can provide Benefit Crashers, our client for this project, with as much assistance as possible. So a quick reminder of what we talked about in class before Thanksgiving break. So what we're doing is we're all working with the same client, and this document you can download from Blackboard. But what we're doing is we're working to try to identify different clients, different audiences, and how Benefit Crashers, our client, can leverage using social media to connect with their audience. So just a reminder, if you check out benefitcrashers.org, or if you watch the videos that are posted, some of the videos that you'll see right on their website, it gives an overview of who they are and what they do. So I would recommend, I'm not sure why that is not working right now, but I would recommend going and watching the videos and reading through the content of the website. So that'll give you some context. Under the About section, it doesn't really talk a whole lot about it, but it does give some perspective. Here is where they talk about what Benefit Crashers was born from, and the idea of how Laura Hendrickson, who wanted to help her brother who was having some issues, how she came up with this idea. So make sure to reread that. So what we did as a reminder is we talked about how we can break out in groups and work to try to help Benefit Crashers get noticed by different audiences. So if we go back to this document, basically what we're going to be looking for primarily are you answering questions that are based on your audience. So what we did is we broke up the audiences into 3 separate funnels. We have volunteers. So one group is working on putting together a plan of how Benefit Crashers can better address people who would volunteer for the organization. The next group is donors. So who is likely to donate, and who does Benefit Crashers want to donate, and how do we reach them? And then last would be the people who would be holding the benefits. So what we did with this document is we laid out in class and talked about what are the different audiences, how can we break them down? So for volunteers, it's people who organize, people who handle books, people who might provide marketing help, donate a little bit of money, although that would flow into donors as well, and people who would attend the events as Benefit Crashers. So we want to be thinking about what questions would these groups have. So people who organize events are going to have questions about what's the expectation, what's the commitment, what's the benefit of holding them. They're also going to be interested in, sorry, that's my timer there. They're also going to be interested in how they can participate. What are the different ways to volunteer? So if you remember what we did earlier in the semester, we're going to list out questions that people might have about volunteering. Now this is applicable to any organization. So people are going to be thinking about, how do I get involved? How much time commitment is there? What are the different ways I can volunteer? What we want to do is we want to put together a social media strategy to help Benefit Crashers attract more volunteers. For donors, what we want to do is we want to help them attract more donors. We want to have individual donors at some level, but we also want to look at corporates and businesses. So what can we do to get on the radar of corporate and businesses? What are recommendations that we can have? Now, these recommendations can be changes to the website as well as social media. media. So I'll show you an example in just a second that I think is a really, really solid idea to use. So the list of questions here might be, are you a 501c3? Meaning, if I donate to you, can I get a tax deduction? It might be, why should I care about this organization and what you're doing? It might be, how does my business benefit? Do they get visibility and promotion if we support benefit crashers? And if so, what does that look like? We also want to look at getting media coverage. So we also want to think about, for the donors group, how do we connect with media? Because media journalists are amplifiers. If we're able to get a journalist to share our story and share our message, what that does is that validates the credibility of our nonprofit organization, and that can help us attract corporate businesses and corporate donors. So if we can say, hey, at Benefit Crashers, you may have seen us on NBC 15, and as we look to grow and branch out, you can become one of our sponsors. By saying, hey, you can see this story about us on NBC 15, that adds a layer of credibility, because what it's saying is the media knows and believes in us enough that they're going to cover us. Therefore, we're a safe organization to donate to. And then last but not least, the third group is trying to connect with people holding benefits. So how do we reach them? What types of social media content can we use? How do we reach out to families in crisis? Or instead of families in crisis, how do we reach out to people to let them know ahead of time that if there is a crisis, they can leverage benefit crashers to their benefit? Or maybe we look for friends of people who are in crisis. How do we reach out to them? A lot of times friends, when a person is diagnosed with cancer or is in an accident or has something traumatic going on, they can't concentrate and their family can't concentrate on what's going on, but their friends can. And then how do we also let community members know that benefit crashers exists? So we know that people are going to go into hospitals, they're going to go into clinics, and they're going to go to medical professionals. These are the people who will be touching the front lines of people who will be the families in crisis. So is there a way to reach out to them to let them know if families are struggling with finances, or if they're worried and concerned, Benefit Crashers is an organization that can benefit them? So let's look at an example from Team Rubicon. So Team Rubicon is a veterans support group that provides disaster relief. So what they do is, as a veteran first responder of some kind, police officer, they look to help veterans and the first responders get involved in disasters, that they provide services free of charge to people who are impacted by disasters. It's an incredible story. What they have found is that veterans and first responders have incredible skill sets that can be used in disaster situations: high confusion, low communication, intense areas, intense experiences. And these veterans and first responders can use the skills that they've learned on the job to benefit people, to help them out. So if I go to their website, and this is something that I want you to do, compare what Benefit Crashers has to what we might recommend, because we can make recommendations for their website as well. So if we go to the Give Benefit Crashers, it just has this give money, right? Now let's compare that to Team Rubicon. So Team Rubicon immediately has a pop-up: support veterans responding to disasters. You can make a one-time or monthly contribution, but you can also become a fundraiser. Now let's look at ways that you can get involved with Team Rubicon. So Team Rubicon talks right away about their mission. So it explains who the organization is. Benefit Crashers does that in a sense. It has an overview of what they do. But let's compare that again to Team Rubicon. So you go into our mission and it says who we serve, how we serve them, work that we're doing. How do we get people trained to be part of the organization? What is our mindset and our philosophy? And then for people who want to do more than just basic involvement of volunteering, here are other items. I'm not going to go through the website. You can do that on your own, but I highly recommend you look through that. Now, what they also do is they talk about their stories and their impact. So if I go through the Team Rubicon website, you can start to look at what they do and how they do it. Again, I'm not saying that this is the absolute most perfect site, but it is pretty darn phenomenal. What they've been able to do is they highlight the work that they're doing and where they're doing that work. They also, as you go through, will look at, and I see that they have some seals of approval, recommendations from top charity organizations that say, hey, Team Rubicon is a great organization. They do great work. All kinds of things that they're doing. They've got sponsorship from Starbucks. They've got sponsorship from Google. Tons and tons of international publicity after starting out with just essentially 4 people sneaking into a country to try to help out. But you can go in and again, you can see their impact. So this is the type of stuff that donors would be really interested in. How are you helping people? Where is the money going? How do I know that the money I donate as a corporate sponsor is going to be valuable? So again, look through this. Now, what I like about what they have is they have this give section. So for my donor group, go into the give and you can see what they have. You can make a one-time donation. Then they go into other ways to give. And this is hard to read, not the best web design, but they talk about ways to give. And they also talk about you can send a check or you can give stocks. So there's ways for corporations to get involved. They also talk about how the benefit of when you donate money, where does that money go? So 89% of all donations go directly to help people in areas affected by disaster. There is not a lot of overhead. And as you go through, you can see that there's different levels of donations that people can make. I think this is definitely something people with Benefit Crashers could do. So it could be, buy some t-shirts for volunteers, or it could be if you donate $300, that would be enough to have a bus be able to take our volunteers to an event, or $500 that would help us promote, whatever the number is. You don't have to come up with all of the exact details, but give some examples of how they could use the donations to be able to help out. If you go under give, you can go to this support squad, and what it does is it shows you different ways your money can be supportive. So if you can donate $17 a month, you're going to help out core operations training. If you donate $100 a month, it's going to help with training for incident management. So all this type of stuff is stuff that you could learn from and share out. There's fundraising opportunities. There's opportunities to become a partner. Again, I encourage you to look through their salute to service, how the salute to service works, and then the financials. For volunteers, this is an area where I think the volunteer group can also benefit and be able to share and highlight. But go through this. You'll see that I'm showing you the website, but a lot of this content is also shared on their social media channels. But this is a great example. So what's it like to serve? You can hear from homeowners. So this is people who've been directly impacted by the volunteers of Team Rubicon. The gray shirts are the people who are volunteers with Team Rubicon. So they give some testimonials and highlight what it's like and what the benefit is. They show also what time commitment there is. So what do you have to do? What is your training? And how much time do you have to expect to be deployed if you're going to participate? And they break this out. So this highlights some of those answers of what do you have the ability to do, what is your expectation, and what is your commitment. And you'll see, borrow these questions from Team Rubicon. You can go through and you can leverage these as an example. And then what I want to point out too is that when we look at Benefit Crashers, they do a little bit of this, but not a lot. So imagine the give and leveraging the give section for the donors. Imagine getting better with these impacts and highlighting a little bit more of the impacts. Maybe they're doing well at this already. Maybe there's ways to do it more impactfully or in a more valuable way. The other thing I want to point out to all the groups is I know they're looking to expand to different areas. The goal of Benefit Crashers is to get to all 50 states. They want to be in all 50 states and they want to have as much impact as possible. So this is the kind of stuff that you can look through and you can say, are they sharing this regularly on social media? If not, they need to be creating social media updates that highlight what they do. So when we go through, I'll do a quick perusal for you guys of, let's go to Team Rubicon's Facebook page. And what you'll see is, look at this compared to Benefit Crashers. So let's go to Benefit Crashers Facebook page. And notice how we don't see that down here. Don't see it up here. Let's see if we go to the home page. Anything, anything, anything. Oh, they've got Facebook down here, but probably should recommend them having an icon. So we go to Benefit Crashers, big logo, but that's it. Now they do have it nice that they highlight recent crashes that they have done and what they're up to. But let's compare that again to Team Rubicon. So Team Rubicon, you see a video of the work that they're doing, right? You get a overview really quickly of what they're doing and how they're doing it, what they're up to. And then what they do is they mix in a combination of donor-related content to show what they're doing, volunteer-related content, and if you want to get involved. So again, look at what you've got when you go to the Team Rubicon social media page. Videos, some video content. You see that there's opportunities for people to do fundraisers. So this could be something that the donor group could recommend, is that they do fundraisers on their Facebook page and work your way through to make recommendations for Benefit Crashers. Now I'm only showing you Facebook. It's potential that you might recommend other pages. But again, what we want to see is what social media content and website content can they create that's going to help people know how they can volunteer. What content for the website and social media would be beneficial for corporate and businesses. Again, thinking about questions like, what do I get when I donate? How do I donate? What are opportunities to donate? What's the cost of donate? Again, leverage Team Rubicon as an example. This is where doing research and competitive analyses of either peer groups or competitive groups can really help you understand how to best leverage social media and the website. And then how do you reach out to people holding benefits or wanting to hold benefits? That's where I'm going to have a series of social media updates. Do you know somebody who's impacted by tragedy or a traumatic event? Here's how you can get involved and you can help. Here's how you apply to get a Benefit Crashers group to show up to your event. Those are the types of questions that we want to list out and we want to answer for the client. So watch this video, meet with your group, figure out what questions that you might have. But the idea is that you're going to come up with recommendations for the website as well as any social media channel or channels. It's okay to stick with just one social media channel. If you think Facebook is the best way to go, use Facebook. If you think Facebook and Instagram are the best way to go, do that. But the idea is that I want each group to figure out how you can create social media content and what content based around questions you need to create for each of these columns to help Benefit Crashers gain in visibility and increase their visibility. So, here's an example where they were on November 23rd, just recently highlighted in the Minneapolis Star Tribune. This is the type of stuff that, should they have a pinned tweet here rather than just their normal a list? I would think so, but that's something for you guys to think about and you guys to determine. So watch this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I am more than happy to meet before class, outside of class, meet virtually. So keep me in the loop, and I will look forward to seeing you guys online and then in class on Friday. We'll talk soon.